In the glow of the silver screen, the dreams of Brandon's convene. There's a tale of war with some motif, where hopes are dashed beyond belief. Lights dim low, the curtains rise. In the seats, a muted sigh. For the show, the promise more. Now what's news? It's time of some war. Dismal nights at the box office, where echoes ring of mispromise. Stars that flicker, fortune fall in the theater's silent hall. Critics sharpen the cutting pens as audiences yawn, and then the buzz fades into the air, leaving behind a vacant stare. Take his soul, but hearts unswayed as the story floods and fades. From the highs to the lowest low, or even trailers steal the show. Dismal nights at the box office, where echoes ring of mispromise. Stars that flicker, fortune fall in the theater's silent hall. Critics sharpen the cutting pens as audiences yawn, and then the buzz fades into the air, leaving behind a vacant stare. Tickets sold, but hearts unswayed as the story floods and fades. From the highs to the lowest low, where even trailers steal the show. Abysmal nights at the box office, where echoes ring of mispromise. Stars that flicker, fortune fall in the theater's silent hall. Behind the scenes, dreams collide, with budgets blown and hopes denied. Yet the makers still dare to dream amidst the box office's icy stream. You know what this is? It's show business. Abysmal nights at the box office, where echoes ring of mispromise. Stars that like a fortune fall in the theater's silent hall. So here's to those who dare to try to captivate, to mystify. For even in the shadows trace there's beauty found in every face. In the quest for gold and fame, let the stories transcend the game. For in the real and the flash, we find the truth beyond the cash.
Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Show Business. I come to you as always as Charles, otherwise known as Sipo. To screen right is Greg Coupe. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Excited to be here on a Monday. Yeah, early this week.
We got to touch all the days of the week before the year's over. And rejoining us, go ahead, Lindsay, take the show.
Hello, sorry, yeah, no, I missed last week because I'm a silly boy, but I'm glad to be back. And on a Monday, yeah, but I mean, if we want to do a Friday show, why not? Like, who doesn't love box office on a Friday? Let's do it. Like,
it would be so either out of date or predated if we do it on a Friday. Yeah, so hopefully there was enough room for people. Somebody told me that there was notifications weren't going through on the live stuff, so the video before this, whether or not that's on the rewatch, that's to be seen. But the stats are wrong. Inside Out 2, it made $101 million this weekend. Bad Boys Ride or Die 18, The Bikeriders just under 10, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes leapfrogged Garfield, and it was 3.8 and 3.7 respectively. So there are two or three things plus the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and the Garfield switching spots. So that's that, in case you were, I don't know, got to call your bookie or something. But
so does this mean the Fall Guys finally out of there?
It's
sorry, didn't
it's out of the top
you
10. It's finally made less than $1 million by about $700. $999, $265. But it's only dropped 39%, which is kind of fascinating. It really refuses to die. It's so weird. I don't know how to make that. I don't know what does that mean? Like, why is it still making money at the theater?
There's like 25 people that just keep going to see that movie like
Yeah.
3 or 4 times a week, and that's just managing to keep it up there.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
And I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after, but it seems like it's going to, I don't know, hold longer than Furiosa does, and that makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Oh God, do I want to see where Furiosa is right now on the list?
It's 11th, 1.3.
Oh, well,
But if you do the math, Furiosa dropping at 48%, and
It's still worse than the Fall Guy. And
the Fall Guy,
near the legs.
right.
And it didn't go to streaming right away. That is really strange. I would have thought George Miller would have more, audience capture, like whatever you want to call that. I think he would have a core audience, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what to make of any of it. But the weekend's big new release was the Bikeriders.
Woo! Ride them bikes.
It did some damage on Inside Out too. It probably took at least 1 or 2 people away from that showing, and came in third. But Gray, you've seen the Bikeriders.
Yeah, I ended up checking it out today. I got a recommendation from a friend of mine who was saying, like, you really should check this out if you're looking for something that's not really political, that's not like going to shove anything down your throat. It's just based on this book, and it seems like they adapted it pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. I still thought this isn't going to be the movie for me because, I'm not a biker. I'm not good with engines, anything like that. Don't really care about bike clubs, motorcycle clubs. But I gotta say, like, I found a lot of it like super relatable, I guess, to me with kind of like the music past. It is kind of people getting together, doing something out of fun, and then kind of seeing how it grows, and kind of these bad influences can kind of take over, and then the passion kind of goes to the side as you kind of get into this different area that was kind of unplanned. I don't know. I found myself relating to it way more than I thought I would. It's decent. There's some really tough accents to get over. If you hated, say, Tom Hardy's accent and like Venom, this is close. He's going for a Chicago accent here, which is not quite New York, but yeah. So that one was a little tough for me. I always had kind of a tough time with Tom Hardy doing accents, which he loves to do apparently.
He loves them.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Joni Comer. She was really awesome in this role, but she also puts on an accent that's pretty kind of tough. It's like a mixture between like a Wisconsin Chicago accent and man. But once you get used to it, it's a great performance. So I don't know. I would definitely recommend checking it out. You might relate to it more than you think, but yeah, nothing was that bad in it. The fight scenes could have definitely been a little bit more real, but it's not really about that. So
I haven't seen. Like I tend to avoid stuff, but the snippets I've seen. Oh, I think Sean and Cody have seen it, and in our Autop stream chat, I just catch strays every now and again. Like I don't want to do that. And apparently, it's just kind of. I don't want to say uneventful, but. It's not really what you would expect for a I don't know. It's not Sons of Anarchy, I guess is
not. But it kind of shows how something that, some guys that get together could become something like that. It's different. It's not the action that I would have thought it would have in it, but I don't know. It's really good performances and some people that you wouldn't maybe recognize without kind of looking into it a little bit further. Specifically, like Norman Reedus has this interesting character that he brings to life in this, and Michael Shannon also does an awesome performance, which he always does. But,
I really wish
cast is so good.
Yeah, it's some really good performances.
Yeah.
Well, it did no dent on Inside Out. It's fascinating. Well, what is Daryl Dixon on a motorcycle? I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
Like, what's the major conflict of the movie?
it's kind of, you're creating this thing that was about like friends getting together, talking about bikes, riding them, to kind of becoming more of like a crime organization and kind of this unsavory element that's coming into this. But it's supposed to take place. So I guess one negative that I would have for it, like, it doesn't seem like it's very clear on like what time frame it's supposed to take place over. There's this reporter that's kind of visiting them, so you kind of get like snippets of what's going on, and you get Jodie Comer kind of telling this reporter, and then it kind of goes into the story. So you have like some narration, and then it goes into the actual events. One thing it could have done better is really kind of shown you the time frame, because apparently this takes place over decades. I didn't necessarily get that, or like over a decade, I guess. I thought it was a much narrower time frame, but yeah, you just got to see how things change. Something that was for fun can definitely get tedious and kind of take on a different life than intended.
Oh, like YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. like that.
Not at all.
Lindsay, we haven't spoken to you in a while. What have you seen recently?
I've been watching a lot of streaming stuff, and I've also just very quickly got a quick little brain worm. So this weekend, it was what was it? It was 100 something to dramatically less. So that made me wonder, what's the biggest difference between first place and second place that we've ever seen at the box office before? And what's funny is it seemed my search started with the biggest opening weekends of all time: Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man No Way Home. And they're both coming in around, with the second place coming in with 0.02% of their opening weekend.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
wow.
It's like 260 for Spider-Man versus like 6 million, and then Avengers Endgame is like 357 versus 8. And with rounding, it comes out to about 0.02%. I think, or maybe 0.002% for Avengers Endgame. Either way.
So Bad Boys annihilated in second with 18 million.
It's not doing too bad, honestly. Like, it should be proud of itself.
Well, that's like its third week or something. Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's not horrible.
Nope. And it's a Sony / Columbia film, so maybe they'll get that Alamo Draft House money on both ends. So that happened either right after, or it was poorly timed, the acquisition of Alamo Draft House by Sony. I don't know if we discussed this last week, but I'll lead with you, Lindsay. How do you feel about Sony as a business operation?
Well, I mean, of all the places to buy it, it wouldn't be my preferred studio. But honestly, I've been waiting for this since I think like 2021 or something like that, when all the theaters started closing down. Because fun fact, it kind of slipped under the radar, but the law that prevented movie theaters from owning movie studios from owning theaters ended in 2021, and then there's been like this kind of like moratorium thing that's been kind of ending for like an easier transition into like the new way of doing things. And so Sony's apparently going to be the first one to jump on the gun and just go ahead and do it. Again, not my preferred studio to do it. Like, I was like, have A24 maybe like go out there and start buying up some theaters. Like, that'd be kind of fun. Because my question is, are and other people have asked this too, this is the original thought for me, are Alamo Draft Houses now going to solely show Sony movies? Are they going to show movies from any other studio? Because why do something that'll help their competitors?
It might be easier for them to like redo classics or release classics, which would be pretty awesome. Like, there's a bunch of Sony ones I want to see in theaters, but I don't know. I haven't heard any answers to any of those. Have you yet? Does anyone know what they're going to be doing with it?
I think it's still too new. We don't know. Have the Alamos even reopened under the new management yet, or is they still some kind of transition?
I would assume it takes a little bit of time. I know, right? Didn't they close a couple of them earlier in the year?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I could see a lot of different approaches for Sony to take with this, whether it be just be an exclusive Columbia Sony Pictures theater, or the flip side, make money off of your competition. And I like,
fair enough. Right now they're making $0 off of the competition.
Right.
Like, what type of Inside Out 2 money are they getting?
Yeah.
None. But
darn, we didn't come in first, but we got some of your money.
That's an interesting thought, actually. Yeah, I guess you might as well try and get some of that $357 million of Avengers Endgame, even if it's only like 1% of that. That's actually, you know what? Hold on. What is 1% of 300?
3.5. What's the big number again?
So
$3.57 or
$3.5 million, almost 3.6. That's not bad.
I'll take it.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Shit, I'll split it
Passive
with you
income.
guys. Yeah. So there, A24, I would think would be a unique, I don't know, not business model, but exploring like independent films in like that sort of environment is kind of neat. But on the flip side, nobody's stopping Sony from maybe highlighting stuff that people would really like to see in theaters, whether or not that's older stuff. Because Sony Columbia is, what is that? That's Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's kind of the big one that I remember.
All
but
Ghostbusters
ton
all
of
the
them in there.
time. Nothing but Ghostbusters.
Yeah, just Ghostbusters and Bad Boys all day, every day.
I mean, they could do worse.
Yeah, but
would you watch the Ghostbusters all-day marathon of the first two, 2016, Afterlife, and Frozen Kingdom, or Frozen
Kinda
Empire,
did.
or whatever it's called? Oh,
For like a podcast, I don't think you joined us for that one, did you, Charles, or were you on that? I know you talked about Frozen Empire, but basically I had to do all of them for 1 week, and I put it way off. So within like a day, I had to do like every one of them. That was kind of tough. It was a slog. I would recommend against that, but it would be really cool. I would like to see the first two in theaters.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think when 2016 came out, they did like a Fathom Events thing, and I saw it, whatever the new 4K print of the original Ghostbusters, and it was an experience. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Big Stay Puft on a big screen.
I actually have a really great story about seeing Ghostbusters in theaters. So I arrived to see something that's not Ghostbusters, and I'm an hour early because apparently this theater doesn't communicate with Fandango very well. This is not the first time this happened to me. And so I'm like, oh, well, what do I do now? I look at showtimes to other things starting while I'm sitting in the theater for what I thought was supposed to be the horror movie I was there for, but was some like romantic comedy instead. So I guess it's just not right. But anyway, so I realized, Ghostbusters is across the hall. So I go across the hall to Ghostbusters. And then about halfway through Ghostbusters, I realized I don't have my wallet. So I go back to the other theater and get my wallet because it was still thankfully still there.
Holy shit.
And then go back into
lucky.
Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Well, that's a scare. Jesus.
My heart stopped. Yeah.
Somebody brought it up in chat earlier, and it is true. Tomorrow, Furiosa is available on streaming, and that is 30 days. That's 30 days from the release. So
Wow.
I'm wrong about the 17 because I forgot that it's not Universal, it's Warner. But sure enough, they're going as soon as they can. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Furiosa and the Fall Guy this upcoming weekend. But
Well, I saw Furiosa twice, so I did my part.
Nice. I only saw it once, but yeah, I would like to go again. I'm hoping they're going to kind of do the Fall Guy strategy, if you will, like still possibly keep it open to some, but I don't know. I guess it's on the theaters if they want new releases.
Well, the theaters make more of that money,
Right.
especially with it being out for a month.
Are they getting people in the seats is the problem. So
1.3 isn't that much.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. What point do you pull a movie? Like, does it when it falls below 1 million, under 500,000? Like, what's the point you give up? Like,
it depends because if studios are putting it on digital or Blu-ray or whatever, if theaters want it, they can just let it roll, and if they're both happy, they're both happy. It's up to the theaters, I think, not the studios so much.
interesting.
Another thing that it kind of lacing back to the Sony thing. Sony was linked to Paramount for a hot minute, and apparently Paramount Plus, as of today,
Mhm.
is raising their prices on everything, which I don't
wow.
know if you're trying to. They're trying to sell it to their customers. It seems everything's going up by $1, including their commercial plan, up
I
to.
guess $1 is not too bad, but that's still annoying. That's how I watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't think of Paramount Plus as any. Well, what else is on it other than Star Trek, Lindsay?
Halo.
Yeah, I was gonna say Halo was on it. I think there's a couple other ones that were kind of decent. I don't know. I actually have a free year subscription or something that came from my phone company, and I never actually signed up for it. I need to do that. But yeah.
I mean,
I
honestly,
could
Star
rewatch
Trek is
Halo.
huge. There's a lot of Star Trek.
Oh, for
It's the
sure.
original, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, all the new stuff, all the movies. So that's a lot, but I don't know. Like,
It'd be interesting. I don't know what Paramount, if their catalog is more valuable to somebody or the ability to release their because with Sony now owning a couple of theaters,
Mhm.
do you want like I could see like Hulu, Disney, Max, one of them scooping up Paramount for the access to Star Trek. It's this.
Right?
I mean, even if it's just the catalog,
Mm.
I don't know moving forward what it's worth, even though we'll be discussing one of their releases that's coming out
Yeah.
Friday.
Nice.
But I don't know what to make of Paramount and why they're raising their prices if they're trying to sell.
They're not good at
You're
business.
trying to increase value. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it shows some confidence that they think that people will pay $1 more. But I don't know, because you're going to lose some for increasing it no matter what the increase is to. So I don't know.
I've had a dance with all of them. Like you said, right? There's like I think Peacock had like a $2 for a period of time thing. I did that because screw it. I think that's how I watched Halloween Ends, was like for a $2 whatever. Yeah, okay.
Oh, nice.
And Paramount, I don't know, maybe it was 3 months, but whatever the trial period thing was, that's usually what I was in for. But Peacock and Paramount were kind of thin, in my opinion, as far as like competition with Netflix, Disney, Hulu, Max. Like those have some libraries to them, where even with Universal on Peacock, it still seemed a little thin. And Paramount, I don't remember anything about it because I don't watch Star Trek, and I certainly don't watch Halo. So,
Well, you're missing out, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is the problem with streaming services now. There's too many of them, and no one can afford to have all of them. And so our lives have now become a juggle of turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off, as things kind of come and go. And that doesn't feel sustainable. Doesn't really feel sustainable.
no, because
If only there was a conglomerate that you could get all the channels in one place. Yeah, it's weird. But I think it is kind of making people a little bit more, I don't know. I don't know if tribal is the right thing, but yeah, you kind of run with your Paramount peeps or your Netflix crew. It's interesting. I don't know a ton of people that have like either Peacock or Paramount in my group of friends.
right.
Yeah.
And you alluded to it, Gray. All these cord cutters from a decade ago are kind of, if you're using most of or all of those apps, it's cheaper to get cable.
Yeah.
And that short-term vision really helped out. Nobody has any sort of plan, do they? They're just like, all right, this will make money today. What about tomorrow? Well,
any of them are profitable yet? Like, I don't know. I the last I heard, a bunch of the big ones weren't actually in the green yet, but I could be
entirely
wrong.
possible.
Keeps pissing money.
I don't think there's a single delivery food app that is in the green right now. That's a thing I learned recently. There might be one that is, but I think all of them are currently operating in the red.
Well, that's the same thing with Uber. Isn't Uber just a sieve for money? So
Probably.
it's just not sustainable. It's neat. I guess maybe it helped during COVID, but all right.
Yeah, but COVID's over.
We're outside now.
Over, but it's
it is what it is. So speaking of Paramount, upcoming this weekend is A Quiet Place. Well, let me get the name right.
-1.
Is it minus? No, it's not. Dick. Is it the first Quiet Place beginning?
It's like day one or night one.
Yeah, I
or-
believe it is day one.
Yeah.
The Reckoning of the first Quiet Place.
Quiet Place one, day one, Electric Dealoo.
Yeah, so the prequel to A Quiet Place comes out this Friday, and how confident are you guys?
I kind of wanted this to be a one and done franchise, but then I did actually surprisingly like number 2. But this, I don't know. This feels pretty unnecessary.
Yeah. That being said, it's got some really good actors in it.
Sure.
I don't know. It looks like it could be good. I feel like the second one was pretty consistent. I don't know. I think it could be good, but is it going to beat Inside Out 2? Like, I really have no clue.
Is it
if
going to beat
could do
Inside Out
anything.
2 week 3?
Is it going to beat Bad Boys 4? I don't know.
It'll be Bad Boys.
You think so?
Yeah. Let's just cut Inside Out in half. Can it make 50 million?
Yes.
Ooh.
Are people going to what? How do you see that happening, Lindsay?
I just wanted to give an answer. That's all.
It is yes or no. So
I just don't like awkward silences. You just throw words out there and just see what happens.
I don't know. I think it's going to be hard. But again, I didn't see Bad Boys 4 making as much as it has, and I didn't see Inside Out 2. But it does seem like it's kind of the year of sequels or prequels. So
when is it?
Well, I mean, the
Fair
prequels
enough.
have been doing better lately. I mean, Maxine looks I guess that's a sequel, but Pearl was incredible like a year or two ago. That's what I meant to say.
Mhm.
We just had Furiosa, which was also incredible. Well, I mean, it didn't perform incredibly, but it was an incredible movie. There was another prequel recently that surprised me. What was it? I'll think of it in a second. But maybe prequels are on the rise. You know, maybe we needed to see a couple burn like The Hobbit and the Harry Potter and a few others, and now we got good prequels going on.
Is Planet of the Apes a prequel? What is that? It's a sequel?
Adjacent.
New
Parallel.
trilogy? I don't know.
It's a reboot.
Yeah.
The Omen. Was that what you were thinking about? The first Omen?
I didn't see The Omen, but I did hear good things about it.
That's on Hulu now too.
Okay. So you're saying I have no excuse? Okay, fair. All right.
I know I don't, and
That's
I
a
still
shot
haven't
at me.
watched it. Yeah.
But I don't know. I do horror movies usually. Didn't you say it needed to crack like, was it 20 to even be a contender or something? I forgot the number that you put in Discord, but
So
I think you said it needs 50 million to like win. I don't know. Has a horror movie done that recently? I can't think of one that's like in that range.
yeah, if we're theoretically cutting Inside Out in half, it's 50 million. So Inside Out, Quiet Place would need to pull in 50.1 to come in first, and it's not really that strong a franchise to begin with. In whole, granted, A Quiet Place Part 2 came out like as one of the early 2021 post-COVID movies, and it brought in 160 domestic. But like I don't know how to gauge that as a 2021 COVID release.
Well,
but
As Alex is pointing out, the second one made 47 million opening weekend. So, and that was during COVID. So, I don't know. Do you see it, Charles? You're the box office guy. I'm just a guy on stage or screen right. I don't know. I don't know. Can you see it getting 50 mil?
No, I really don't. I'm trying to see what. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to buy time here. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. It came in first with 47.5, and second that week was the Cruella live action film with 21.4.
I mean, it had some big names in it, but yeah, I definitely wasn't rushing to see it.
Still can't believe that movie had spoilers. Cruella's mom gets killed by Dalmatians in the first 5 minutes of that.
Movie.
So it just flips the entire narrative on its head. Like you didn't know that she had reason.
Yeah. No, you're right. I empathize with her character so much more now.
Now you get the code. I get it.
By the way, I've been looking at the list of prequels the last few years, and there are actually some good, like Wonder Woman. That technically was a prequel. Annabelle Comes Home. I really liked that movie.
Wait, are you talking about Wonder Woman Sexual Assault Edition?
No, not 1984. The other one, the original Wonder Woman, was technically a prequel to the rest of the Justice League movies because it happened so far before it.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonder Woman, just plain Wonder Woman. I see.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so I should, maybe I was too hard on prequels. There are some good ones. The First Purge. First Purge is really good.
Is it?
I mean, by Purge movie standards, they're not great, but they're kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if what prequels have. I mean, Furiosa's kind of glaring out there. When do they do well?
Didn't well, actually, I don't know what it did in the box office, but the Hunger Games, like the song
that did do well.
Yeah. That was a Hunger Games minus what's her face.
That was a November movie.
Yeah,
that was a Jennifer Lawrence list.
Jennifer Lawrence list,
J-Law. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I knew I was missing words in there.
Opening weekend was 44.6. All right, that's okay.
What was the budget?
Critically, it did pretty good.
I do not have the budge in front of me.
I'll see if I can find it. Budget.
But it totaled at 327 worldwide.
Oh, it 100 million to make, so probably 200 million with advertising. So that's putting a little bit in the bank. Not a lot, but that's putting a little bit.
Yeah, I think I watched that with the missus, and we didn't hate it. Oh, Foxroo, $2 super chat. I'm hearing a lot of numbers.
12,
I don't know what that
16,
means.
24, 32. I'm counting by eights, apparently.
Yeah, if I was a bigger fan of Lost, I'd start rattling off those numbers. But I
4,
don't
8,
know.
15, 16, 23, 42. Not that I know those.
There you go.
I'm not a Lost weeb, I swear.
I still haven't watched the last season of that show. I'd have to watch the first 6 seasons because it's been too long. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, I get that. Some might say you're better for it. Some others might truly disown you. Who knows?
I don't know. I think it peaked at season 2. Season 2 was incredible. Everything else after that, we don't need to get into it. That's
Beard
the whole
work
thing.
got worse.
Marcy, 5 Danish krone tak.
Ooh, thank you, sir.
Wow.
Thank you.
Fudge. Where was I? Oh, prequels, Hunger Games, which is interesting because there's a bit of a Hunger Games tie-in for something we're talking about later.
No, I'm intrigued.
You shouldn't be
talking about Battle Royale. Let's go. Okay, we're getting a reboot of Battle Royale.
Finally.
Quentin Tarantino directing, like you always wanted.
So,
that would be awesome. There's some epic school scenes. Yeah.
So, A Quiet Place, just even the original doesn't. It didn't do that well. 188 domestic.
What was the budget?
And with you in the budget.
I'm capping budget over here, bro. Like 17. That's wow.
Yeah, that's why we've had 3 of them and perhaps
Fair, yeah.
6 more.
Is John Krasinski still involved, or did he abandon ship after the second one?
I think he's got at least a producer credit on this. I know his name was somewhere on it when I looked it up earlier, but I didn't see him listed in the actors. So I don't think they're bringing in those characters.
Wait, didn't he? What was the children's movie he directed, or was he starring?
Yeah. I know he wrote it. I believe he directed it, but yeah, I'm kind of blanking on it. I should know of my more Krasinski knowledge, but yeah.
Marcy, what is the best show or new release of a season of a run? What? What is the best show or new release of a season of a running show this year? I can only those far remember Ripley and the Gentleman.
The Gentleman was great. I need to finish that. I watched like the first half of the first season. I loved it. I need to go back and finish it.
Yeah, Mindhunter was so good. I really wanted that one. I wanted more of that, I should say.
So,
The Gentleman was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, The Gentleman, that was on Netflix, right? Didn't they like sort of retell it or something?
Yes. So there's no McConaughey in this one. So yeah, it's weird. He made it into a movie, but I really liked it. The actors in this one were just amazing. But yeah, it's kind of peak Richie for me.
It's funny. Like I love both. Like the movie's incredible. I mean, the movie has the best performance of Charlie Hunnam I think I've ever seen. But I also really like the show. It's weird. Like just these 2 very different things called The Gentleman, but they're both good.
Yeah. You don't get Hunnam, but Theo James is just like amazing in this. So I really
he's never been. I think at least I've ever seen.
I think so too. Yeah. Unless you count Bastion in X-Men '97, but still, yeah, live action.
Wait, he was Bastion in '97.
He was.
Oh, okay, that's sick. He's really good in '97. Then actually, okay, wait, okay.
I didn't know his accent was like that. I don't know what I know him as. What was the
4.
YA movie? Yeah, 4.
Oh yeah, those Allegiant, the Insurgent, whatever those ones are.
Virgin.
Yeah, Divergent series.
Yeah, that I didn't know he could speak like that, and I was like, oh, what is this?
Who are you?
Well, to go back to a weird tangent, I did just look it up. So yeah, Krasinski did direct If. He did direct Quiet Place 2 and Quiet Place 1, but this one he's not directing. It looks like he's just a producer on day 1.
He would have had quite a full schedule there if he did.
That's true.
Yeah.
Lindsay, have you watched any of Baby Reindeer?
No, but I have heard of it. Which one is Baby Reindeer again?
Comedian who's stalked? ? And apparently it's based on a true story, and the backlash from the show itself is probably overshadowing this show, even though the show is really kind of good.
Wow, okay.
It may shape true stories or the verbiage for them going forward.
I don't think
it's like 150 or is it $170 million case? Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah. So the story, which the stalking isn't the most egregious claim of the movie to be true, but the person the movie's based on, as far as the stalker is concerned, has come forward and is suing Netflix, but not the creator or the writer of this series, because in the beginning it says this is a true story. And that's what they're jumping on, even though she came forward and announced herself as somebody who's not the character name. It's for my own personal interest, they can't win like that. This is a true story in the beginning, but during the end credits, as there always is, to have any persons, places, blah blah blah. You know, the law talk at the end. It has that. So it's not like, you know, I don't know. People were suing for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. People weren't suing for Fargo. This really, were people suing when Orson Welles did the War of the Worlds thing?
I think there was. You're talking about the radio broadcast, right?
Yes.
I think there might have been. I could be wrong.
Well, crap.
Or let's look it up. Actually, okay.
I know for Fargo specifically, people were like going to the side of the freeway and like trying to dig up the snow, but I don't think anyone brought a lawsuit forward. But they thought there was a missing suitcase somewhere or briefcase.
Yeah, so how responsible is an entertainment medium for the actions of us idiots? Oh, you guys are both cooking.
No, sorry. Yeah. Give me one more time, buddy.
There's some hot gentleman talk going on in the chat. I had to join that. Sorry. Yes, you caught us both.
Would you like to leave and go in the chat? I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you later. My bad. For Lindsay's sake, would you like to repeat what you were asking us?
Yes, for Lindsay's sake.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So how responsible should a creator of a story be to the fact that idiots like us, people that go and do our little homework at home and then go figure things out and dig up the side of a highway, like how responsible are the content creators for idiocy?
I don't think they should be. Sadly, I don't think that's the world that we live in, but I don't know. When I hear anything like story, I'm assuming it's someone's narration of it. Like it's not going to be like a 100% accurate depiction. It's a story, but I assume there's going to be flourishes, but I guess that's not how everyone takes that. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Lindsay, did you hear it that time? You want me to say it again?
No, I think I got it. I don't think there was a lawsuit. There was a lot of like public outcry afterwards, and a lot like thousands. Like I think I saw 12,000 articles were written about it. So it was like a major hubbub for like a good minute after it happened. But it doesn't look like there was an actual lawsuit.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I will say for the U.S., this Netflix needs to win this case, and this is really weird for me to say that, but I don't know the UK law because I know they're way stricter with personal experience. But what was the thing that Late Night with the Devil was? Shit, Emily told me about this, and it's
the AI.
No. It was a TV movie in like 1992 or something.
Oh, what the hell is the name of that? Yeah, no, I'm blanking on it. But yeah, it was like a fake broadcast as a horror movie where they were then going in and seeing this like House of Horrors, if you will.
And they presented it as if it were a news special, and it got a lot of flack in the UK. And there was a bunch of people complaining, and it was like the most scandalous.
Ghost Watch. Thanks, Alex. You're awesome.
Indeed. Thank you.
You beat my Googling.
So I really wish I remembered or wrote it. Actually, if I wrote it down, it wouldn't matter because all of my notes did not come with me. Emily did tell me about it, but so there seems to be precedent in the UK, but it like people can come out of the woodwork in the US if well, I mean, I guess everywhere, but people can like really start just, I don't know. Do you want the Egg Dean estate starting to sue for Silence of the Lambs? Like just how, where do we like, this shouldn't have life, should it? Also, perhaps this person, the person who is suing, the person who's come forward and like named themselves, even though the internet has found them, can we have them tested for mental health? Because her interview is frightening.
Yeah.
Piers Morgan would put her on a TV set and continue with that as, I don't know. It seems like if anybody could be sued, it's Piers Morgan for not doing any sort of vetting or anything.
She
I'm
did kind
down
of
for-
threaten that she was going to.
Okay.
She threatened what?
That she might sue Piers Morgan because
She's going to sue.
possibly like his interview with her. She got paid like a standard fee for it, which is pretty low, but he's making a ton off of it because I want to say it's like 60 million views or something, like depending on the platform, and then there's almost that on every platform. So yeah, she's kind of mentioned that, but then she also mentioned suing Gad, and his name is not in the lawsuit. It's only Netflix at this time, and it's only in the US from what I understand. So
that's the contract you signed. Person.
Yeah, and that was kind of his point, but apparently he was unfair to her in her eyes after that.
Well, this is where somebody in her favor could, if I were a lawyer for her, I would say, well, I don't know. I think that 170 million from Netflix is most important right now, but you would have her, I don't know, ideally, not ideally, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you sue Netflix, lose, and then have her tested by a doctor, and then go back and sue Piers Morgan and say, see, this person was in no right mind to be interviewed and exploited like this. And
So here's the question: Did it portray her in a certain way, or like in a negative light, or like
yes? So the two main parts of her lawsuit are they're claiming that she is a convicted felon for stalking in the past, and then she may or may not end up also getting convicted in the future. So the main basis of the case is that they have now defamed her by saying that she's a convicted felon. But
so she's not a
claiming
felon,
she's not.
That's what they're claiming. They did a basic, I forget what they call it, but there's 3 levels of like kind of. So it's in Scotland is where she's from. So they did now I forget what they call that particular thing. But
there's a 3-tier.
Anyway, the basic one only
is,
goes back 5 years, and this incident supposedly took place in 2014. So that wouldn't cover it, but they do say that she was convicted for 5 years in the show. So that 5 years ago would technically cover that. But oftentimes, if you have served your time and if it is good behavior, it can be, I forget what they call it. It's not expunged.
It's like what we have for juvenile. Like your record goes away if you pass probation or whatever. But dramatic licensing, like you have to take liberties with the story. You're not, if you're not making a documentary, you have to take some liberties with the story. You have to tie it up.
And no one from the show has said that she is this character.
Right.
She is the only one coming forward saying that it is her. So I don't know. Wouldn't it be? So it'll be up to the lawyers to argue it in there, but saying that somebody is like a convicted felon, wouldn't that be somewhat more of a way to distance this character from a real life person? I don't know. It seems like the lawyers might be able to argue that.
But the only reason this came up is because the internet found her based on her erratic typing methods. And apparently that is the big thing. And I guess the name Baby Reindeer is it's out there in a message or something, and that's how they found her.
Interesting.
That's not the show's fault, I don't think. They changed her name.
They're kind of putting it out there that they have a duty of care to reach out to her to get her like approval on it, which is kind of weird because I don't know, wouldn't that be like your abuser has to sign off on you telling your story in a weird way? But I guess that's the thing. They're saying that they never reached out to her and she may be mentally unwell. And it's like, well, but should she be able to hold like your story hostage if she doesn't want it told?
I mean, if it's that's where it kind of gets into kind of a gray zone. If you're going to tell the story of someone's life, like, I mean, well, you know. Well played. I'm going to go sit in my corner. Okay, I'm done. Bye, guys. especially if there's a way to have it get tracked back to them. Like you said, it was through this one message, like this one use of word that they were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
The title.
So there's kind of like
sorry, yeah.
there's kind of a joke in there that they use this particular phrase as like a euphemism, hang her curtains. So they were able to go back to his Twitter and literally put that phrase into it. And there's a tweet from her saying like, I need my curtains hung badly or something like that. So then everybody kind of started piling on saying like, are you the real Martha? Are you whatever? And then apparently there were even a couple of like death threats in there. But by death threats, it's somebody saying like your days are numbered. It's not like, I'm going to meet you at X place and use like whatever device. So they are threats, but I don't know. It does seem weird. She got a lot of harassment from it. So her answer was she went on Piers Morgan to give her side of the story, since right now the creator of the show is the only one telling the story. So
you got your story out there.
Yeah, in theory it makes sense, but I don't know that this worked in her favor.
No, it made her look worse. It made me troubled for her sake that somebody should be like medically checking.
It is uncomfortable to watch. Yeah, you can see a lot of behaviors that they don't seem quite right.
And yeah, when the questions are asked and the story put up against what the quote unquote truth is, are dizzying to say the very least. Because she says that she barely knew the guy, and apparently, like, she would take jabs at the show creator at every chance she had, but also she didn't really know him, and they were joking with like really, the term she used was like Scottish something, very Scottish type of humor, and the more she spoke, the more it really didn't help her case. And then she started talking about how many phones she has, how many email addresses. And it just, she says 4 to 6 phones. And I don't know a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer who has more than 3 phones.
Well, she is a lawyer. At least she is past the bar or whatever in Scotland. So,
good for her.
You know. Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to do, you know. So
I don't think she's been active, and
fair enough.
So, right of response or whatever, the Scottish person in Parliament was interviewed.
Wait. Sorry, I just saw a chat. Piers Morgan brought on Andy Signor.
Yeah.
Quite a few times to talk about this particular incident right here, and her whole situation.
Well, that's kind of Andy's thing. He's a drama tuber. I don't necessarily say that disparagingly, but he's a drama tuber now, right? Like that's like his main thing.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Same thing with a critical drinker. He also got to go on and kind of give his opinion on Fiona.
Well, I already knew Piers Morgan was a bad person, so it makes sense that he'd bring on Drinker. But Andy Signor is like, oh, good for Andy. He's still getting out there, I guess. Yeah.
Getting some interesting interviews recently. Like I really haven't been compelled to watch him in the past, but man, there's some crazy ones recently.
So Piers Morgan has his like TV cred, and now he's scraping the YouTube drama.
Apparently, there's money to be made.
Yeah, I guess. But has Andy Signor cleared everything of his name?
I don't think so.
The assault, I know
he
apparently
started over on a different channel.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't think so.
Right.
But
so I do remember him doing a touchdown dance for the case being dismissed for the assault claim. However, didn't do anything about the, I don't know, dozen or so DMs that he was dropping in on people, and some of which their age was questionable. So I don't know if that's reason enough to do a touchdown dance.
Small victories? I don't know.
Sure. Foxroot, $2 super chat. The Gray Zone episode when?
We're working on it soon now. Now that I know this is a thing, the ball is rolling. But you're the man. Thanks for the awesome super chat, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't I don't know everything about the Andy Signor story, but there seems to be like where there's smoke, there's fire type situation where he was big on the Johnny Depp thing. And wow, there's some similarity there between those two human beings. Interesting. And now he's being interviewed by Piers Morgan when somebody's claiming something that isn't true.
Just a
about them.
panelist. He's not really being interviewed. He's just being asked his opinion. So, you know, that's he doesn't have to answer. He just has to kind of judge others, which fair enough. That's fun.
Yeah, it's just like a high profile version of Drama Tube is what it appears to be.
For sure. But kind of speaking of that, it is Piers Morgan, but he recently had on Kevin Spacey. And I don't know. I think I might have like prejudged that way too much. There was like this fervor, and you know, those accusations against a minor are like just horrible. But I don't know. He was acquitted of everything in 2 international courts, the U.S. and in the U.K., and then also a civil trial where the accuser had to actually pay him. I don't know. I guess it just shows me that like I think I rushed to judgment without kind of knowing any evidence or anything. It's just like that accusation sounded so horrible. So I don't know. I would hope that any sort of accusation goes through like the legal means, and you know, someone is brought to justice.
Plus,
But
there's also it's very murky when cases just go away because there's settlements and things where it's just we don't have the complete story, and you know, somebody will stop suing because they have some sort of settlement. And you know, why haven't we heard about the I don't know. I'm not well educated on the Kevin Spacey story. So,
well, kind of getting to settlements, Netflix has kind of settled quite a few. Well, I guess there are supposed settlements. Like I know there was like the Queen's Gambit kind of lawsuit a little while ago, and then there were like 2 other ones that were kind of high profile, if I remember right. But I do believe they all kind of went away without an actual judgment. It seems like they were able to kind of settle them out of court. I think the Queen's Gambit, each one paid like their own legal fee, and then nothing else was disclosed. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the
Queen's
particulars.
Gambit one.
Why was that brought to trial? Whatever.
I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember too much. But did they use an illegal chess move, and so that the chess society sued them for poor portrayal of?
Yes, 100%. I'm kind of blanking. I can refresh it myself really quick. But
It's called en passant for a reason. You can't do it twice, you stupid shut. No,
I don't like it. I really hope that precedent isn't set for this $170 million thing. But I don't know if they're more inclined to just pay it to go away, then you know, I don't know if this person who's suing for maybe Reindeer gets any sort of offer, take it and run, and please go away and get help. That's the best recommendation I can give. But if that happens, see, I don't know how much I should say, because if it goes the wrong way, I might be in trouble. How many
that's
times?
why I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah,
I'm still here looking pretty.
I've created like amalgamations of people. Like I've said my ex, and there are certain characteristics that can swing into somebody that I've been with in the past. But when I have these like stories on stage, it's like this hybrid. It's not any distinct person. Like I take all of these characteristics and put it into a person for the sake of that story. And if this goes through, that means that any of my exes can sue because that's not true. Like that sucks. That absolutely sucks.
yeah, and that would be kind of crazy too if it does set the precedent that like they would have to go to your ex and get a sign off, because that seems to be negligence that's kind of being laid forth at Netflix. Like so there is one extra step in this that a Netflix, I think executive testified in front of Parliament that yes, this is a true story. So there is like one extra thing, but they haven't sued in the UK yet. But kind of looking at the Queen's Gambit one, it was also a defamation suit, and it was for $5 million, and I guess it was settled. But Nona Grapadel, I am not going to be able to pronounce that. That's the one. I was objecting to a scene where a commentator refers to her match between Beth Harmon and a fictional Russian grandmaster. Apparently, it is a mischaracterization of her never competing with men in chess in 1968. So they're saying that that is enough to defame her. But it was settled outside of court. So
wasn't that like fiction too? That was sort of
based on a true story. Who knows? Is any biopic like that true? Like we know pretty much the dialogue is going to be made up, but
so the estate of Freddie Mercury.
There wasn't a stenographer there recording all the dialogue as people were saying it, and then they put that into the script. No, sorry.
Start over. What?
So that you mean there was a stenographer there taking down everything everyone was saying?
Would have been nice.
I mean, I've got one everywhere I go. He's just off camera right here.
It just seems like where does this stop then? Because like I was trying to so the estate of Freddie Mercury can sue for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Maybe. I don't think that's an accurate portrayal, but the other band members signed off on it. So I don't know. I'm not sure who like has the rights to Queen's story.
I
do.
That is kind of interesting. Oh, congrats.
Not that there's any coincidence, but the three people from the band that are alive who also are producers, they really seem to be like really good members of the band in that movie. I don't know what
they seem like great people.
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's figure out a fight by writing Another One Bites the Dust, and everybody will get back together, and we can show Freddie the way, even though he's been late and horrible to the rest of the band. The rest of the band really just writes gold.
Well, I think
Brian May is pretty awesome.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying Brian May is awesome. So it makes sense to me.
Dude had the hair perfect in the movie too. Like they went for it and it worked.
Still has it today too. What are you going to say, Lindsay?
Oh, I think my favorite moment. For the record, I love Bohemian Rhapsody. I know it's not a great movie, but I turned 30 watching it. Like I had a lot of fun with it. But I think the moment that kind of was almost a little too much for me is when they accidentally discovered the stomp stomp clap, and then suddenly like, wait, that's exactly what the song needs, or whatever it was. It's a little too much.
Oh, coincidentally, who directed that movie?
That's a good question. We don't really know.
It's hard to find out.
They don't have a director on that movie, do they? That's weird. Yeah. Speaking of Kevin Spacey. Marcy 45 Danish Kona Tak. For preparation, you need to watch all Garfield live action movies to know what's going on in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh my God.
And the Marvel movies connect weirdly? Oh, because it's Fox. Is that true?
Oh my God, is Garfield going to be a Deadpool and Wolverine? Is he the final boss? That's amazing.
So. Yo, give me like 2004 version of Garfield. I need Bill Murray Garfield.
I want every voice actor that's ever played Garfield to be in this movie. Lorenzo Music, Bill Murray, Chris Pratt, it's all of them. Like
Chris Pratt has had enough voiceover work for I don't know, an entire nation.
Yes.
No, come on. He could do another franchise. He's only got what? Jurassic Park, Lego, Mario.
Guardians of the Galaxy. The guy's got
He's going to be in DC now because of James Gunn. Like,
ridiculous FU money.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can fit another one in. Sure. Has anyone considered him as Zelda Link? I think it would work out.
Oh, God.
Well, speaking of properties of our childhood and getting angry about it, this is the part of the show. We're gonna have a little break so I can drink, and we're gonna have this for about 25 seconds. That's it. We're capitalizing on all the junk of the internet.
Woo!
It's the Acolyte
Most
segment.
of it.
Let's stoke those flames.
Yes. The incredibly emotional backlash that I feel for this mid show.
Oh, and we need to stoke the flames because they're burning down a building made entirely of stone, and stone doesn't burn. So we need to stoke the flames so that they keep burning.
There were metal doors. You never know.
The very flammable material.
Well, it was a long time ago. Maybe things had different properties.
Laws of physics, man. Who knows? They're loosey-goosey.
Charles happened to send the thinkers this really cool video the other day, but I got a feeling there's more to the story, and it sounds like it's probably going to be in episode 7 where we get more of the flashback. I'm assuming just because
no more saying this episode is going to be the thing. You've said that twice now, and I'm not. No. Oh, this one's where
from what I've heard, the one who directed 3 is also directing 7, so I'm assuming that's going to be the other flashback one. But that's the only insider info I have. So I'm looking forward to that. But you brought up this one video that kind of harkens back to Rashomon and kind of shows like how amazing that film is.
No,
that style of storytelling.
We're not saying that the Acolyte is Rashomon or
anything
like Gone Girl, any of that.
So the Kurosawa films have always kind of influenced Star Wars, if you will. And the one that Rian Johnson really took on was Rashomon. And he kind of showed that event between Kylo and Luke that way. And then, it gets recontextualized the next time you see it. So Leslie Headland did say that she is very much influenced by Rian Johnson's version of Star Wars. So I do believe she's doing that. And we just didn't get the whole story of this. I don't know that it's going to necessarily make sense. Like, does force make fire more? I don't know. It is still rocks burning. So hopefully there's more to what's going on. But
or just more rocks burning. Just 4 episodes of just rocks burning.
Fair enough.
I think what the internet has taught us between The Last Jedi and the Acolyte, and again, the Acolyte, I don't have incredibly strong things to say in the positive. I don't have incredibly strong things to say in the negative. I don't think it's worth all of this fuss, first of all. I think what is being proven that Star Wars fans don't deserve is challenging art. Like, that's basically it. Like, it's just popcorn junk. That's all that Star Wars fans apparently want to make noise for. Because Last Jedi challenged to a certain degree, and this is expecting you to come back and finish the story. It's very unique. It is doing that Rashomon, showing different versions of a story from different perspectives. And some of the complaints I've seen just aren't feeling the story out. Like, this didn't happen, and this person's dead. And it's like, they haven't finished the story yet. If you judged Rashomon at the halfway mark, or Gone Girl before that halfway reveal, you'd have a completely different experience.
You think this is the right medium for a story like that? Do you think it should be episodic week by week? Because it works in a movie because you're kind of forced to watch it. It's like, that event just happened. But I don't know. I think it could be frustrating to an audience to just okay, so I just saw this thing that doesn't make sense to me. But it's not necessarily clear that you're just hearing it from this one protagonist point of view or seeing it from their point of view. So there would be limited information, and you don't know if they're even correct.
It is unique. I think we're spoiled as consumers that we've had so much bingeable content where everything's dropped on day one. To do this story like this without letting people know, you're going to have perspectives that may not be the complete truth. I don't know, wink or let the audience know, there's some unreliable narrators here, but does that take away from the experience? It's a unique way to do things. And I don't think so far it's been strong enough. Well, so far it hasn't been strong enough to draw people on a weekly basis to watch it. but it certainly ended with a unique cliffhanger at the end of episode 4. I'm trying to think, like, if I only saw half of Lost, would I
Well,
miss or what?
Because
how
it
many
was
seasons
4
were there in
episodes that were
Lost?
shown
'Cause-
to people, right? Beforehand, it was 4 episodes.
yes.
Okay. Mhm.
Wait, what?
It was 4 episodes were shown to certain YouTubers and stuff like
well,
that.
yeah, critics,
Beforehand.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. And I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4 episodes. So we have caught up with everyone that saw it.
Yes,
Beforehand.
yes.
So we have
Whatever-
seen everything.
That's correct.
that was reviewed.
Whatever the hype was,
Mhm.
you know, oh, episode 3 is going to drive you crazy. No. Episode 4 is going to drive you crazy. All right, now all of that is over. Now we're
Okay.
caught up with all of that nonsense.
Okay,
What were you saying, Ray?
I guess that was the main hype that I was hearing last week. Is like episode 4 is really the one that's gonna like destroy canon and everything. And there's like a character. Now I'm forgetting his name, something Mundi, but the weird conehead guy.
County
He
Mundi.
wasn't. Thank you. I could not remember his first name. I just know him as the there hasn't been any Sith for a millennia. So yeah, I guess he's not supposed to be alive during this point. I don't know exactly why they brought him into this, but I don't know. Does it kill
He's
either of your
recognizable.
passion? Well, does it kill either of your passion in Star Wars that they've kind of changed his birth date so that he fits more into this timeline? Apparently, they changed it on Wikipedia while the episode was playing.
Oh, that's funny. Not really. It doesn't really bug me. I mean, how long before the New Republic stuff is all this? I know it's not. Is it 100 years? Or not? How long before episode 4? I mean, or episode
there's-
1 or whatever.
I think they're saying 100 years. So it seems like from what I understand, Kitty Mundi, they extended his lifespan 40 years to make this work. So I don't know.
I mean, is it far fetched to think the Force makes you live longer?
No, not at all.
Ask
But that's
Yoda.
kind of canon.
Yeah. I mean, just
I don't
with
know.
everything that we know that it can do. I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, people keep forgetting that when Disney acquired it, they said that all those side novels and all that shit, it's not canon. And I don't recall hearing about whatever Mundi. I don't recall hearing his age in episode 1 or
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
I just
Was he in
remember
Clone
him
Wars?
being
I
kind of
never
a
really
dick.
watched. He's got-
What?
He's not like a loved character. He's no Yoda. He's just that dude who was wrong about the Sith. And apparently, now I can't remember the character from Clone Wars, but yeah, he's not the most liked character. His people were not happy with him after he did the whole Order 66 thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him as this super beloved character, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't have the same love for the prequels as some people do. I don't know. Did it break canon or like super rock your faith in Star Wars or make you want to cancel your Disney
Oh, I mean,
accounts?
I think it's better than Obi-Wan so far, and I mean, I thought Obi-Wan ended strong. I loved seeing Hayden Christensen back; like that was a lot of fun. I love seeing Ewan McGregor back, but like I didn't really enjoy watching Obi-Wan very much. I like Baby Leia. I thought Baby Leia was fun and spunky. But you know, like then there's the moment where they're like trying to sneak her out of a base where he's like, and then Ewan McGregor looks like a 4-legged dude where 2 of his legs are like way smaller than his other legs. It's like, what are we doing here? Why is this a cartoon? This feels more serious, more grounded. This feels stronger to me than Obi-Wan did. I don't know. Go ahead, Doc.
I had a completely different opinion or experience than you on that one. I really did not like Baby Leia. That was my main complaint with that thing. But that one seemed to kind of like break some of the canon where it's like, so you mentioned that you used to know this dude and then you put yourself into this isolation. You stopped using the Force and whatever. But, you know, previously we thought that he was just watching over Luke. And then there's this other battle that happens that nobody has ever referenced. But fair enough. The end fight looked awesome. I love the way that they lit it with the sabers. That being said, I don't know. It wasn't the strongest series for me, but I don't know. The kid acting in this kind of harkened back to the baby Leia in that one for me as well. I think it's hard with child actors. Like, I don't know. I couldn't have done it as a kid.
I think the issue with modern Star Wars and the discourse on the internet is Obi-Wan should have been a film, but thanks to the internet, they they lower it and stretch it, and it became a television series. That appears to be their safety net when it comes to making content. Should Solo have been anything? That's a better question. But the backlash that Last Jedi and Solo received over the course of 6 months really changed things. But part of the issue with something like Rashomon, Gone Girl, those types of things, the lying, the different perspectives that people experience things differently, that's not coming across, and then things that people are complaining about with this show. Like I constantly see people contradicting, like, oh, they said this last time and now it's this. And it's just like, yes, from one person's perspective, it's that. From the other, it's that. What is the problem?
I hope they pull it off, but
right. And that's
I'm not sure, but I know that we're only getting like half of the information now, or possibly a third. I'm not sure if they're going to tell it all from just the Jedi's perspective, or if we would get May's perspective in like the future. So I'm not sure if there's going to be like 2 more flashback episodes or what, but I don't think we're supposed to know everything. And a lot of people, that seems to be the main complaint. Like, they're not telling me everything. I don't know the stakes. And it's like, yeah, they could set that up a little bit better, but I don't know. You're right about the challenging thing. I think a lot of people don't want that from Star Wars, but
no.
As long as we get the backstory about how the main Jedi guy uses Jedi powers to disrupt this system of games about keeping like the oppressed down and the rich super rich, then it'll be the perfect series. But I'm worried they're going to chicken out on that at the last minute.
I'm just pissed we didn't get Jedi Wookiee fight action. Like, I guess we're gonna get some bit of that with the flashback, but they've kind of showed that in a trailer.
That was the big thing. That was every week there's like the hot button topic from this incredibly mid show. This is so outrageous. Blah, blah, blah. The fact that
it's so expensive, $2 million an episode.
But it's the lowest rated thing on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, well, in that case, I'll stop watching. Shit, what am I doing? The thing about the Wookiee Jedi and their off-screen thing, we might see that still.
That'd be cool.
Listen, if we're at the end of the season and that's all we see of that situation, yeah, it's disappointing. But haven't you kind of figured out by now that there's this weird method of storytelling happening with this show? I just.
Well, you see, reaction culture needs you to immediately be something. And so there's not enough time to sit around. And this is why, like back in the day, I used to do episode reviews for the Marvel Netflix series. But eventually I realized a lot of the episodes I was saying is like, oh, not really much happened now. We're just kind of going to wait for next episode. And after a while, I was like, I just kind of got bored with it. So, but because I didn't come at it from the point of view of looking for something to get angry at. I wanted to give my actual genuine reaction to it. And sometimes there's, you have to just kind of wait for things to happen. There's a slow burn. And I guess people can't handle slow burns, or just the internet culture doesn't allow it.
Are we spoiled though? Because it feels like,
so.
Like of course the story's not complete yet. It's a season.
Yeah.
Well, do you think Lost could work now? Because that was just like mystery box after mystery box, no payoff. I don't know if that could be handled today with like kind of the backlash this is getting. I think that would get just as much. Like, what are you doing with storytelling? You're not explaining anything. You're not giving the correct hints to what's going on. That seems to be a lot of the complaints I'm hearing about this, and they're calling it bad writing. So I don't know. Did Lost get bad writing complaints back then? I remember it being acclaimed and everybody saying they better pay this off well, but I don't remember the accusation of bad writing.
The issue with modern Star Wars culture, and somebody wrote it up in the chat about Sean's video, and it's right on. Star Wars fans on the internet have ruined the experience. Like, absolutely ruined the experience. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't think this show is incredible. I certainly don't think it's like abhorrent either. I just think, all right, well, let's see where it goes. It could impress me. It could end up being a bit of a letdown. But I don't. People who feel so vigorous about something, like, find things to do, man.
Touch grass. I know it's
Yeah.
a cliche.
There's already
but,
some
like,
pretty good memes out of this. You know, the prequels had some good ones, but I think this is going to be, it's going to beat it. Sorry, my dogs are freaking.
I think I saw one of my favorite memes ever, actually. It's Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, where he's like flipping through the book. How do you read this? There's no pictures, but he's got a MAGA hat on. It's like, how do you watch this? There's no white people.
Whoa! Man
Nice
down.
catch. That was pretty awesome.
Okay.
Tricks
I'm
of the
playing
trade.
seriously. Yeah. So guys, lighting. You want above and in front of you.
Now it's a get ready with me video.
Exactly.
You put it above. Okay.
Well, I'm always trying different things.
Oh, you don't have red gels? That's interesting.
No, okay. Well, you guys are going to judge everything I do now. Okay, I see
Well,
how
no,
this
because
is going.
I'm here in the Sith lighting.
I know that's what I'm saying. I need to get on your level with the Sith lighting. Like, Gray's got the Jedi lighting with the blue, and I'm just over here with kind of neutral, just and then you're Captain Sith. You're Captain Sith.
But so, Gray, you're a fan of something that people have just written off, and that is Velma.
I might be the only person who liked that show. I was super excited for season 2, and I think they beat season 1 as far as everything that I was looking for. But apparently, I'm the only one who was looking for any of that. It previously had the lowest score on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, the Acolyte's beating it.
That's funny.
So that kind of is my point. I hear nothing about, even including when I speak to you, I've heard nothing about Velma. And meanwhile, the Acolyte, it's just all over the place. And I don't understand.
Over on the curse side of YouTube, there was quite a lot of hate watching and a lot of people saying how gay it is, which it's kind of supposed to be. But
I mean,
fair
I
enough.
guess that one guy had his shirt off. Does that make it gay?
I meant Velma. That was
Velma.
one of the
Sorry.
criticisms for that. And then it's just horrible. And they're just killing all the characters, and it has a super woke message behind it, which I didn't find. And then also, Velma has just made the star and hero of it, where it's like, yeah, she's the main character, but they do nothing but just kind of like crap on her the whole time. I love it. I don't see her as like the voice of reason in it. Everyone kind of gives her the respect that she deserves, but I don't know. I like everything Scooby-Doo, so I guess I'm weird in that thing. I like this version of it, but I can respect all the other versions. But
so Scooby-Doo,
I don't know. I guess that's unique.
Does Scooby-Doo actually show up in it, or is it all just
No? So they didn't get the license to the dog. That's the one thing that they couldn't get. So they've got every character except for the dog. Scrappy-Doo shows up this season. Spoilers, but they can't get Scooby. He's licensed to it costs too much. So they have the van, they have all the characters, no dog.
Do they solve mysteries?
Not yet. So there was an overarching mystery, but each of them was kind of dealing with their own thing. Okay. Then in this one, they kind of team up, but it's not the mystery machine yet, and they're not like a mystery solving group, but they're getting there.
So Scooby-Doo is your Star Wars
now because everyone hated it. Fair enough. I think once they brought in Scrappy-Doo, they ruined the whole franchise. So yeah, sure. So I was willing to take it a little bit less seriously after that. And when they made the awesome like Matthew Lillard, all those Sarah Michelle Gellar, and what is his name, Freddie Prinze Jr. When they did those movies, like I don't know, I was able to appreciate them. I enjoyed them, but it's still not the original Scooby-Doo. So I don't know. I guess I'm a stand for the show, I guess, but a lot of people really loved everything Scooby-Doo up until this, and then just hate it because it's different.
So to put a spin on,
I was looking for something different, I guess.
To put a spin on your perspective, Velma definitely makes choices, different things, and as has different versions of Scooby in the past. Why are you so complacent with changes like that, whereas it seems Star Wars or the loud Star Wars fans just can't handle. But the canon, it's different from this.
I'm not sure because like with Star Wars, I really hated the prequels. Like once they brought in like midichlorians and this Immaculate Conception, I don't know. It seemed different to me, but it seems like they're doing something different with the prequels, with the sequels than they did with the original trilogy. But kind of getting back to the Scooby-Doo thing, I'm not sure. I think I was kind of bored with the super formulaic thing that Scooby-Doo is, and I have a million iterations of that. Where this is something a little bit different. It's more for adults. It's on Max. It's not aimed at kids. We have all the kids versions going all the way down to young kids where that's a pup named Scooby-Doo. But instead, this is kind of the more adult comedy cartoon. I really liked it. I like the tone, but it's a lot of meta humor. If you don't like jokes about what kind of jokes they're telling, this is not the show for you. Like every third joke's a meta one. So that just gets under people's skin a lot of the time. But I'm not sure. I think I was just kind of bored with where it was going. I feel like I've seen everything that they've done so many times, so many mask reveals. This doesn't have that. So I don't know. I like the characters. I'm not a huge fan of Mindy Kaling, to be honest. So I wasn't expecting to like it. And it was a pleasant surprise to me. I fully expected to hate it. It's, again, one of those that I was prepped by the internet to, you're going to hate this. It's super woke. It's going to suck. And I found myself laughing quite a bit. So
Right.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's different. I guess I was just open to different.
In a universe where Friday the 13th is a big deal,
Mhm.
if they do something, the amount of months of content I can make based on that's not what happened in the original timeline. Meanwhile, the original timeline is busted to begin with. So just enjoy the ride sometimes, no?
Does anyone consider the series part of canon, or is that just gone? Like, it feels like they've kind of screwed those up before. And I mean, I love Jason in Space, but you know,
Jason, I'm with you on that. That's the best one.
I hate both of you. I really
It's
hate
okay.
both of you.
it just
be
feels
aware.
like they've done it before with this series. So I don't know. They could kind of go anywhere. I love me some Freddy versus Jason, but you know, is that really canon? Does that fit anywhere with any of this? I don't know. Yeah.
I think people need to learn how to have fun again. Like getting back to the Acolyte,
Very
the whole
good. Very
the
good,
whole
Lindsay.
the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Was it cringe? Yeah, but you know
Yes,
what?
very.
We all need a little cringe sometimes, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. It was supposed to be
And
like
that
a
meme is going to
Midsommar-
last for a long time.
It is
It's
a
gonna keep
gift
going
that's
on.
going to keep on giving. I am excited. I want to know where this meme is going to be in 10 years, but it's, you know,
I still get a hello there every now and again. So yeah.
right? Right? I don't mind a good hello there. Like just you know, just have fun. Not everything needs to be, you know. What was it? This other meme I saw the other day. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars isn't bad anymore. You're just old and angry now, and you're taking it out on Star Wars.
Yeah,
And
I think prequel kids are now where original trilogy kids were when the prequels came out, and they're like, well, that's not my thing, so I'm gonna
right.
shit on the sequels. And then 10 years from now, the sequel kids will shit on whatever comes out then. So like I don't know, it's a rite of passage to have the thing that you like just get dunked on. So hey,
And for the record, the Disney era is probably the most flawed era of Star Wars. Like between like how bad the Rise of Skywalker was, Solo, and some of these other movies, and like some of these streaming series. So like there is issues. There are proper English. There are issues to be had here, but you don't need to blow it out of proportion like
Right.
it is. Like yeah, the Mandalorian season 3 sucked. Boba Fett sucked. But you know what? Go into
There were
something.
some really good episodes in like that first season. Even the second season had a couple of really strong ones.
Oh, I love the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, and I even love the Mandalorian segue in Book of Boba Fett. That was the best part of the whole series.
It was the best part of that. I mean, yeah, granted, you got Boba Fett riding a Rancor, but
Well,
who wanted
That's
that?
pretty much it.
I was somebody who was like, oh, they're gonna undo his death. Cool.
Ooh.
Not a fan of it, but I just didn't watch it. So
Yeah.
like I get it. If that's something you want, have fun with it. To me, he died in the pit in episode 6. But I'm not like throwing a hissy fit that they're gonna retcon things. I think the Disney era, the lows are pretty low, but I think the highs are certainly higher than
Oh yeah.
prequel era.
I still haven't finished it, but Andor, what I've seen of it's incredible. The Last Jedi is great. I've come around on the Force Awakens. Fine, you guys win. There's Disney's made some really good Star Wars. Yeah,
They've made some really bad Star Wars too.
Oh yeah, but like Disney's like some like is Pocahontas good? I don't know. I haven't watched it in 25 years. I have a feeling if I watched it now, part of it's wouldn't hold up so well.
This weird revisionist history, like George Lucas needs to take the reins back. No, George Lucas did the prequels. Stop.
He had too many reins in his hand at that point. There is that like famous clip of him saying like, "I fear I have gone too far." I think he did with those prequels, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh, that screening is legendary.
Yeah, Rick McCollum's his face is just like, oh, wow, okay.
And they're all just kind of slowly realizing they can't really fix it without like a page one rewrite.
Yeah, as Troy's pointing out too, though, like Andor, that is possibly my favorite Star Wars property, and for I don't know how long. I guess maybe since Jedi. It's really strong. I really dig that, and the actual movie Rogue One, it's not bad, but something about Andor, it hit even harder for me. I really dig that show, and I guess that's a prequel.
I keep meaning
back
to
into
watch
our prequel thing.
Yeah.
You should, man.
Yeah. I loved that. I think I watched the first 3 episodes and I adored it, and for reasons I can't explain, I never went back. I really just need to sit down and just finish it.
Does anybody sense the irony when these complaints of bad writing come in about these modern Star Wars vehicles, and these people are yearning for episode 2 style writing? Like Attack of the Clones is awful. Like it is bad.
Can't we get more Senate in this series? It would be nice. Yeah,
I would love an entire political like the West Wing style drama, but it's just like the Senate on Coruscant. I would just want like 2 or 3 episodes of that. I would adore it.
I want an episode explaining why sand is so hated. Just a full episode, a love story as dry as Attack of the Clones was. Ugh.
Can we also get Anakin watching like Mad Max Fury Road or Furiosa and like just get his opinions like on those?
Poor Natalie Portman.
She's a queen. It's okay.
It's to kind of pivot because Amandla Stenberg. Do I have that last name right?
Think so. I'm not too sure.
Stenberg. Excuse me. Stenberg. Amandla Stenberg.
Okay, then I've heard it mispronounced apparently.
Which I had it. I didn't know that she's Rue in Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel old, like really old now.
Fun fact, just to help with that. So the guy who kills Rue in the Hunger Games is Jack Quaid. So the 2 most talked about shows right now are from the girl that got killed in the Hunger Games and the guy that killed her.
Oh. Huh.
Small world.
Yeah. She was also in The Hate U Give and a handful of other Gen Z movies. And The Hate U Give is something that I felt was heavy-handed.
Well, some people are kind of giving her some heavy-handed hate right now. So
yeah. So for Juneteenth, she put up a post on Instagram. I cannot show you for a myriad of reasons. Hashtag blame StreamYard. But she did a music video, and it is a choice.
It was a
better
choice.
than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I learned about it from the other side of the internet that's really
cursed
against it, and they can't believe that she's ruined her career. And of course, as Disney's floundering, this is the best that the actors could muster. I don't know. I think there were some choices with the lyrics, but it's got a beat that kind of
the beat's pretty good.
Better than I thought it would be.
they're doing something with the vocals where it's like there's like 3 layers of it playing at the one time. That's like a little distracting the first time you hear to it, but it kind of catches on a little bit. Like it's interesting, especially because apparently she put it together in 3 days. A couple of the moments in it are a little cringy, but like she also like you said, she goes hard. Like she's bringing up Thug or The Hate You Give, and about how people have been yelling at her on the internet for like 7 years almost at this point because of that movie. And was it a good movie? Was it not? I don't know. I didn't see it. I have a feeling it was, like you said, a fairly heavy-handed movie, but like she was a teenager when it came out, so any online hate that or harassment that she got was completely unwarranted. She's just an actor in a movie, and she's I don't know. Like, I don't think it was a great song, but I thought it was a very interesting song, or at least an insight into what that's kind of like a little bit. I don't know. What do you think, Charles?
I reminded myself that she was Rue and watched that video, and she's just grinding the camera to open that video. And I'm like, I'm going to prison. This is awful.
That's what watching True Blood season 1 was like for me after growing up watching Fly Away Home. Anna Paquin.
Oh, yeah. Or like Halloween 2007, what they do with little Jamie. Whatever.
Oh right, no, I know what you're talking about.
They go way too far. But I don't know. This just feeds hate, I would assume. Like you're showing them that they're getting to you, is what I would assume. Like they're winning by you doing this.
I get what you're saying. But if she has been getting this hate for, I mean, I guess not since she was Rue, but for 5 or 6 years. I don't know.
Learn how to die, Rue. You didn't do that right.
This is only one diss track, so I don't know. It is, again, I guess kind of like the other story that we were talking about earlier, the baby reindeer thing, Fiona, saying that, like, there's one side of the story out there and it just keeps showing up. So now it's her turn to talk. I get that. I've been in a couple internet feuds and I felt like I had to respond to stuff. That would be tough to not be able to do that. You'd be a bigger man than I. But I don't know. I guess I get that urge to be like, okay, well, I've been getting this crap for years, so now I'm letting them know. I don't know. There's worse ways that I've seen people kind of clap back at their haters. At least this one had like a decent beat.
So, when are stars of property going to think with their pocketbook over their head? Because if anything we've learned from Disney, the Star Wars universe is what you do on the internet can cost you your job. And doing stuff like this can certainly risk long-term gains.
Well, for listening to everything on the internet, though, they've already canceled season 2, and it doesn't matter at this point.
So season 2 of what? The Acolyte?
The Acolyte, supposedly. Like before it was even released, there were a bunch of like videos out saying like they've already fired Leslie Headland. She's going to be suing them. She's supposed to be on other projects. They've taken them away because of how bad this is.
These are the same creators that say Kathleen Kennedy's fired every other day.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
This is finally
there's one in particular who seems to be pushing it, and then like a lot of people kind of just parrot what he's saying, which I don't know. So far, it doesn't seem to be true, but it was the same one who was basically saying like 3 is going to be the thing that breaks Disney. Just kidding. 4 is the one that's really, really going to make everyone do this mass exodus.
I love that finale of 4, that cliffhanger. Like that was pretty cool.
It's the only one happened in episode that made me immediately want to watch the next one. It's like, really? So we don't have another one. So yeah, it was effective for me. I want to see what the whatever you want to call it, like it looks very alien, whatever that Sith Lord thing is. I want to know. I want to know the story.
I think that's a helmet, and I think we've seen the character that is under that helmet already.
Oh, for sure. But there's 2 candidates. So like that's a mystery. There's the mystery of there's like 5 or 6 different mysteries going on. Is that enough to make you want to keep watching? Would you keep watching if it wasn't for the controversy?
You're right, Gray. This most recent episode, the cliffhanger at 4, certainly had enough meat on it where you're like, all right, where is this going? Whereas the other ones, it was just like, I don't know. And it seems like to their detriment, the internet, the YouTube Star Wars mouth breathers have actually caused the life to linger on this series. Certainly for me, because I would have watched the 2-part opening and been like, all right, maybe when it's done. And now here it is kind of hooking me on. And tomorrow night I'm excited to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of wish that they so the spoilers. The whole series is kicked off with the murder of Carrie-Anne Moss. I wish they had done that towards the middle or the end of the episode instead of the beginning. Like, give us a chance to kind of like get to know her a little bit, so then we care that I love Carrie-Anne Moss. I'm upset she got killed. It was a cool scene, but give us 10
she's still in the
with
series.
Her.
She's still in the series. Like, that's the other thing. Like, we can second guess their method, but if they memento this shit, I think the only thing we'll be able to do if they achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve with the method of storytelling, all we can do is second guess. But if they get the entire story out there, then it's just rearranging things, I guess. Yeah. And it's just people need to adapt to the way TV used to be. And I don't know if this is a successful way to do television.
Yeah. And also, they might have shown that first as kind of a misdirect. I guess we don't know any of the things, but one of the speculations is that she may be the Sith person that is about her height. So I have no clue. But there's like 3 characters that they're basically saying. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's Carrie-Anne Moss. Like, would she do a bit part where she's in like 3 episodes? I don't know. But
if it's not her, she does have that one really cool scene. That fight scene between her and
for sure,
that's a cool scene.
Shades of the Matrix, sure.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was really cool. The only part that kind of took me out was her kind of forcing up the banister to the 2nd floor, but everything else about that looked awesome. I really dug it. But maybe there's something they could have done to end the fight a little bit better. But yeah, I really liked kind of that weird way of using the Force in that kind of defensive way. I dug it.
I'd never seen that before, so I was kind of down for like martial artist Force users. I was sick.
Yes, but that hasn't happened before.
But I want new things. I want new things.
That is not
Star Wars. I want
new things. Did you guys touch on the actor and the shitstorm they're stirring? And what it may do for their association with Disney?
Which Amandla or
yeah?
What would you do other than the diss track?
So yeah, she's essentially, she doesn't name anything in this song. She doesn't name any. I mean, she references Trevor Noah, King Trevor.
Yeah. Well, so I could be wrong, but everyone's kind of digging up this clip of her on Trevor Noah where she's kind of like yes-anding and then kind of bringing back what do you call it, callback of a joke that Trevor Noah made previously in the interview where I can't remember what show it was, but he's saying like, so this is to make white people or to, I can't remember what it is, but white people's tears. So then she was calling back to that with her answer at the very end. I think that's what she said because I don't have the lyric in front of me, but it was something about what King Noah said. I do believe it has to do kind of with that, the backlash that people keep bringing up that clip and using that against her with this show, which has nothing to do with that.
And just for clarification, she's half white.
Yeah.
So there's just that. We keep steering away from the person and the relationship with Disney. Will this affect anything?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I'm not seeing a huge backlash of. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. There is a huge backlash no matter what, but I'm not seeing like a whole bunch of people saying like, how could she drop this thing? Where I was seeing like an outpouring of like, how can you let like Gina Carano still work there when she's saying this hateful thing? I haven't seen that same backlash, and it seems to be the other side who's kind of upset with this thing. So I don't think it will affect her, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic on this.
What is the other side? The
kind of the anti-Star Wars fans or whatever, the people making those videos that they already hated. It seems like there are like 3 people who kind of keep getting called out on their communities not being so savory. They seem to be the ones who kind of have the backlash to this song, or at least are kind of saying something about it. I don't think they're listening to that community. So I don't think it would affect her standing with them, but maybe if they're looking for somebody who's, non-controversial, that would not be this person now.
I think the actor getting involved in this doesn't help. I think when you get into petty discussions like this about race, politics, all that shit, it takes away from the art itself, like the content itself, and it gives these filmmakers, these people on the Disney side of things, I don't know, it gives them a little bit of carte blanche to say, yeah, we don't give a shit about you. And when they say it, they're not saying all of Star Wars fans or whatever. It seems like the message just keeps getting, I don't know, the hyperbole just really, I don't know. Lindsay, you didn't chime in.
You think she's still got a job?
I'm probably like, honestly, like at this point, this kind of engagement with this kind of online stuff is literally just free marketing for Disney and stuff.
But is it a double standard? Because like Gray brought up, Gina Carano, they're different situations, but similar.
Well, the difference is that it's the things that Disney agrees with, and this that art agrees with. It probably doesn't actually agree with it, but just wants to agree with it on the front to try and make money off of it. So I don't really see them ditching her necessarily just because of this. Like, has she done other stuff at Disney, or is this like the first thing with her?
I believe it's the first thing, but I'm not too familiar with her career.
Okay. Bodies. I didn't like that movie either.
She was in Bodies.
Yeah. I certainly liked. Oh, she voiced Spider Bite in Spider-Verse.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, little hologram thing. That's cool. Okay.
The Hate You Give, The Darkest Minds.
Oh, she was in the dark. She was in The Darkest Minds.
You're Evan Hansen. So a little bit of a checkered past.
Yeah, okay.
Hunger Games, but then a bunch of other stuff.
Well, The Darkest Minds was like supposed to be like the Hunger Games, but it's like superpowers. It was so bad.
I feel like there has been a lot of unfair criticism in this. Like they keep bringing up like Leslie Headland's past, specifically like that she used to be an assistant for Harvey Weinstein, and it's like, okay, that was in 2003. Apparently, she also did, I can't remember if it was a stage play or a musical, but she wrote it about this tyrannical boss and the assistants kind of like revolting against her or against him. I do believe she has kind of made her stance clear that it's like she didn't support that. I think she was like 19 at the time as well. So I don't know. It just seems so shitty that people are bringing that up when it's like, I think the first thing she wrote on was Terriers, which is this kind of weird detective show. I dug it, but I'm a Donald Logue fan, so anything that has that dude in it, I love it. I thought that writing on that show was great, and then she did like the reboot of Heathers, and there's a couple other things. It seems like she's got a pretty decent career here. What's the Russian one? A
Russian
doll. Yeah, I thought that one was pretty cool too. I dropped off at some point after the first season, but yeah, she's had a pretty illustrious career, but I don't know why people are bringing that up. Like something that she did, what is that, 21 years ago?
It
like,
does seem to be, it seems to be cherry picking and not really crucifying everybody for that, because I mean, if you're going to go back and find things that Ben Affleck has said, find things that Quentin Tarantino has said, like
you don't want to dig into that Tarantino closet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to crucify people for their past and the things they've said or did, then you better keep going. It's just I don't know what it when you attack things like this, it gives companies like Disney the high ground to say, yeah, we don't care about your opinion. If you have a gripe with the quality of the media, and it's not, more white men, then it's something. And it's like the things that people have asked me, how do you feel about the fact that it's the lowest scored thing on this? And it's just like, yeah, look at how many ones there are. Yeah. How many people genuinely feel like this is a 1 out of 10? Like that's silly.
I don't know if we've mentioned The Boys yet, but they're kind of getting a lot of this too. Now it's the wokest show ever, and it's getting a bunch of like review bombs that are just like one, and it's just like either this show has changed or not good, but they're not mentioning anything or like too political. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone kind of clapping back at their audience, but I feel like, Leslie Headland has gotten some really unfair criticism in this. There's a lot of things about the show you can go ahead and criticize, but I don't know, bringing up something from like 21 years ago and saying like that's going to forever define you because it's a job choice you made when you're 19. I don't know. That seems over the line. And then what they're doing with, now I'm forgetting her name. It's Amanda, the actress in there. Thank you. It seems like they're really kind of taking some quotes that she said out of context that aren't referring to this and are digging those up to say, see, she's horrible. This is why we should hate this thing. And it seems like it is perpetuating hate. I can't remember who it was in the chat, but they said that they just went over and looked at the comments on that, and it's pretty horrible. What she's getting is comments to her video.
Her music video that she released?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, it does seem like there's hate out there for this show and for the people involved in it, but I don't know that all of it's necessarily deserved. It feels like a lot of it's somewhat unfair hate. So I can understand her wanting to kind of clap back with that song, but I don't know. I think there's a reason why you don't see a lot of people do that.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's I think it's a sign of like you're so desperate to hate something, you'll look for anything. Because 3/4 of Hollywood has worked for or with whatever the fuck his name is, Weinstein. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to go after her for that, you have to go after everyone. Or right? Like you said, Charles. It's stupid. It's desperate. It's clinging and not cloying. I don't know. It's every descriptive I could think of right now. And it sucks that like these are the things that we're talking about. Like we could be talking about like Star Wars having its first murder mystery series and how it's not doing the murder mystery very well, but instead we're concentrating on the fact that it kills the only white character in the first 4 minutes.
And that is where I feel like people's credibility needs to come in. Yeah. I feel like if you're a certified critic or something and you stoke those flames of bullshit and you don't like disassociate from, listen, I'm not talking about this show sucking because a white guy died. This show sucks because technical reasons, storytelling reason, blah, blah, blah. Instead, you like fucking disown this group of fans and how about not feed that shit?
I mean, again, Amandla's song actually talks about that at one point, about how journalists are not doing their job right and chasing those views and chasing those clicks in order to get that money instead of actually reporting on things that matter. It's,
if you're covering film, nothing really matters. First,
of course. But I mean, like, there's better, like I said, there's better discussions to be had than there's not enough white people. Like, does Star Wars have a bare minimum for white people? Is that a George Lucas rule? Like, if there's not at least one white character, it's not Star Wars. Like, does it cease to be Star Wars?
See, in a different fashion, some of this stuff was said in jest,
Mhm.
I would, I mean, sure, some of it is probably said in jest, but it just gets like muddied up with all this other junk.
Yeah.
There's that.
I mean, it's literally a joke from Blazing Saddles. Hey, where are the white people at?
Well, the girl that plays 23 in Logan
Mhm.
is the Yolandi
Padawan.
looking
Yeah.
D. Anford. I had her in the video.
The white face.
But yeah,
The white face
she's
alien.
all whatever. And I think I saw somebody say something, and it could be a joke. And in a different environment, it's funny. They took the one pretty white girl and made her look hideous. And it's like,
Oh, Jesus.
I hope you're kidding.
How old is she?
Well,
Young. Again,
yeah,
I've never felt as old as I have looking into these actors and the past and things.
Daphne Keene. Oh, she's 19, so I guess it's not illegal, but it's still creepy.
Ultra creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Is it worth that much money to just not, separate yourself from these things? Again, as an accredited or somebody with credentials, to be like, listen, we're talking about the art. We're judging stuff within the material itself. We're not talking about. I don't know. If I hear DEI another time in regards to fucking television, I'm gonna puke. They like. I don't know. Would it be calling it a dog whistle to say things like, "Oh, lowest rated show," like all of these things that they talk about that aren't really like, "Oh, Disney is losing money." Okay, how is the show? How is the show? I realize me saying this on a show called Show Business is a bit ironic.
well, it's not doing great at the box office, but,
It's strange. Like that our thing is talking about a movie not doing well. Bikeriders hasn't really done well, but that's not all over the internet. It's strange that things that underperform don't usually get attention unless it's Star Wars. And it's drastic.
Well, it's kind of big news, and that same thing with like anything that Disney kind of has their hands on. If it underperforms, it's like, how could the biggest, the $1 billion company, how could they do that? I don't know. It does seem like there is a different standard for their movies, but there's also like a different tier. Like generally, theirs are the more expensive movies out there. They are kind of what you think is going to be that next hit, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like a lot of Disney's shows are necessarily successful.
Yeah, I feel like their shows are just kind of like they're fucking around. We'll make 6 episodes out of something. And unfortunately, everybody, Pixar is a Disney company, and with Inside Out 2 just making stupid money in the last 2 weeks, they're just going to spread it around in other places. So I don't know. On a business sense, if you wanted to send Disney a message, send them a message with your wallet
On Facebook.
No, if you
Slide
don't
into those DMs.
Sure, they're looking at all of them.
Well, if you don't want more of this stuff, don't pay for it. Don't cover it. What is the saying? Any news is I don't know. Fuck.
No, all news is good news. or
All
no news
publicity is
bad
good
news?
publicity. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. I don't
Yeah,
care.
no
Nobody
such thing as bad publicity. One of those statements is probably the one. Who knows?
I don't. Oh, X23. Did I say 23? Yeah, I don't remember.
Did you see 23X? How dare you?
Yeah, I apologize. So that's we covered The Acolyte for about an hour. Ridiculous.
Hmm.
Are you gonna hang in there, guys? Are you gonna watch the whole rest of it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping they pull it off. But yeah, I'm not sure they're going to at this point. But I don't seem to hate it as much as the rest of the internet, but I'm kind of used to that now. So, I don't know. What about you, Lindsay? You going to finish it?
One of my friend groups is currently torn in half right now because one of my friends he refuses to acknowledge that he watches Critical Drinker, but he definitely sounds like Critical Drinker when he's talking about the show. So my friend group is kind of engaged in a very ongoing debate about this show. So if nothing else, I'll keep watching just so I can keep, a part of that healthy discussion. But also, because internet drama is, my water. So if I go too long without any, what am I supposed to do?
So
I can't wait forever for H Bomber Guy's next video. I got to get my fix somewhere here.
put some Netflix quality content out there.
Dude,
If they pull off this method of storytelling, what happens to the internet? Well, what happens to the people that are complaining right now? Uh-oh, we got props. Props are coming.
Oh no!
What was that?
Split.
Oh.
Split in half.
Wow. Gallagher, ladies and gentlemen.
I was hoping for a much bigger piece of paper. It's all I had, though, sadly.
So Split.
So the internet's going to become the movie Split. I call James McAvoy. I don't know who you guys are going to be. There's not a lot of characters. You might want to start calling them now.
Will they shut up? Will they backtrack?
Oh, I mean,
Don't think so.
That's weird.
I mean, it did happen once with House of Dragons. Like a lot of people said, like it was woke. They're doing this DEI casting, and then it does seem like a lot of people were like, "I was wrong. It's actually pretty good."
Really?
So maybe somebody could do that, but I don't know. With this being, episode 4 and the hate's still there, I don't see that happening. Like, it would have to be some magical ending that really just ties everything together to get people to not hate it. I think the hate train is in full steam at this point. With House of Dragon, I think it was like after the first one that they were like, I was wrong. This is pretty good.
I still need to watch. I need to finish season 1, then I need to start season 2. I really liked the actress that played the main character in the first half, and the actress that took over eventually. She seemed fine. Like honestly, she seemed great. But the fact that they recast her and no one else was so distracting for me. Like I needed to let my brain reaccolate, and I never really did that. Yeah.
She is an awesome actress, though. The one that did take over, but it's. It was hard for me to get back into it, especially since like they're using the same opening music, and it's like really like okay, you're going there, and you left such a bad taste in my mouth with the end of the first series. But yeah, I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised again. I guess that's my key is I have my expectations really low, and then it's like, oh, you beat it. Way to go.
That's the way to do it. Go in with no expectations. We all need to just get rid of expectations. Anyone going on a date with me, anyone watching any movie ever, just throw away all expectations.
It's the best way to experience a pleasant surprise. Like, oh,
right?
Wow, I was expecting nothing, and there's dessert.
There's dessert.
So.
But sorry, to the question, there was one really, at least for me, kind of famous moment of backtracking on Mario. I don't know if we want to name the YouTubers, but there was a guy who he's so copy and cringy. I love it. He was very hard on the trailer because Peach was wearing pants. Like he kind of lost his shit on a video. And then when the movie comes out,
the famous clip.
I maybe we should name him, maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to throw him out, but then like after the movie comes out and he kind of likes it, he's like, look, I now that I've seen the movie, it makes sense that she was wearing pants. So I didn't have the full context of the film, and so I got angry at nothing.
She's about to go on Rainbow Road.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's incredible. Like the mental gymnastics some people will do is impressive.
It's almost like the trailers are not the entire experience.
Like little snippets,
and without context, that's crazy.
Like Madam Web's a terrible movie, but imagine getting so angry at the trailers for Madam Web just because of those like the scenes of like the different Spider Women, which is like I think 30 seconds in the final film of them. Like you know what? I know Amandla is not a great example, but like you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I don't know that one too. I mean, I'm not going to say that they were wrong for hating that, but I don't know. It's so hard to judge something based off of a trailer. Like, I don't know, that Suicide Squad, the original one, like really threw me off because it's like, well, this could be okay. Like, okay, based off the trailer they had me, and I don't know. I've just been burned on trailers so many times. You can get like, 60 seconds of good out of almost any bad movie. You can make it look appealing.
Speaking of trailers, apparently the Nosferatu trailer dropped today, which I'm trying to avoid. Because I know I want to see it. I just don't.
Who's the director of that? Is it Eggers or is it the other guy? It's Eggers. Yeah, I'm down. That's gonna be good. I'm excited.
So like it's hard. It's hard. And for as much as I said, a lack of context, they do show too much in trailers at times. Not enough to build an opinion like that, though. But
it does used to challenge me to like recut certain trailers for movies to show less but still be interesting. I did it like for a couple of them, and they were kind of fun. I was always like kind of wanting to go back to that. Like,
we covered marketing briefly in film school, and I kind of wish there was like an entire course on it, because the way they talk about the Independence Day teaser, just Empire State Building with a shadow going over it, and like, all right, see you there. That's all they show you.
Yeah.
Less is more. So if we can go back to that, that'd be swell.
Trailers changed so much. They had like all those golden voices, and like it was all about that, trailer voice. And
Don LaFontaine.
Yeah, Don LaFontaine. Yeah, he is the man. But there was like 3 of them that were kind of the golden ones. Disney had their own, and now I'm blanking on the other dude. But yeah, there were basically like 3 guys that did everything. It's just completely different than now. Is there any voiceover in like any trailer you've seen in the last, I don't know, like decade?
That is hard. Shit. Last decade. I don't. Well.
The Alien Romulus trailer was pretty good, but it was more of a teaser.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Prometheus trailer, but the movie was a different experience. Anything Christopher Nolan puts out, Tenet was confusing, even though the movie was confusing. Oppenheimer was cryptic.
Just trying to think.
That's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, because there might be like the occasional like throwback one that's trying to seem like an old school trailer, but even then I'm blanking on like who could be doing that in like the last 10 years.
The Maxine trailer is pretty sick. I don't feel like that shows too much. Maybe I really want to see that movie though.
I've seen something of Maxine, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like the third film in a horror franchise. It feels very 80s action, like smutty B tier action, and there's too many names in it. Like I feel like they've kind of gotten a little overboard with the cast and things, but I don't know. I have faith. I'm just concerned is all. So yeah,
it's a good thing to be concerned.
Yeah, it's better. This way,
just lower expectations. Maybe it'll work out.
So this weekend, that'll do it for the Acolyte at the very least. Tomorrow night, or tomorrow, or later at midnight, I don't know how it works. Furiosa will be available on digital. So it'll be interesting to see in the lower 10 where Furiosa and Fall Guy are. But on the top end of this week's releases is A Quiet Place Day 1, the first Quiet Place, whatever that is. Will it dethrone Inside Out 2? Gray, thoughts?
I can't see how it would. It just, it seems like there'd be 2 completely different audiences. You've got nostalgia and kids going to this one where I don't know. I'm not sure that A Quiet Place could even make it close. This has just been such a weird year box office wise. I can't predict anything, but I kind of doubt that it's gonna rock, Inside Out. But maybe I'm wrong. I just see it being more like Bikeriders, maybe a little bit bigger, since it does have a couple that it's working off of.
I don't.
Last one did like
disagree.
47, but I'd be surprised if this one's over 25. But I'm uninformed.
Lindsay?
I just never counted out Pixar, so I'm just assuming that Pixar is going to keep being dominant. What's the big movie that comes out this week? My brain just went blank.
Quiet Place.
That's right. Yeah, not a chance. It'll do good. It'll be a strong second place, but like it's I don't see it happening.
I agree. I mean, unless it does some sort of weird Bad Boys magic where nobody sees what's happening coming.
Again, I did not see that one coming. Was that just the right time for that one, or what? I mean, it's still number 2 now. It's been doing good for 3 weeks, but
Right.
I don't know.
Like
Do you see Quiet Places even close to that?
It
The magic of Quiet Place is just like you go to the theater and it's silent. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Like I've never been in such a quiet fucking theater in my entire life, and this movie doesn't feel like it's going to have that at all. Like, which is fine, but it just, it's just not going to have that same sauce, that same it factor, that same thing. That's going to. There's not going to be any bird boxes coming out of a Quiet Place day one, if you know what I mean. Like,
well, it's going to start noisy, but eventually you're going to have to get quiet.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Very noisy first act. Gray, we're gonna shut her down now. What do you got coming up?
Stuff eventually. It'd be fun if you guys want to go over and check out my channel. Eventually there will be new content, but until then, every Thursday, come and check out The Thinkers. Charles is amongst the thinkers. We have panelists from at least 3 different continents. It's quite fun. We all get together and disagree in a somewhat civil manner. Come check it out on That Darn Kidda's channel every Thursday, The Thinkers. What do you have going on, Lindsay?
I've got a few little projects I'm still working on. I've got a thing coming up on July 6th where I'm going to be talking about the Borg and Star Trek. I'll inform a little bit more about that when it gets a little closer. But yeah, I've got things in the work. I'm having fun. Hopefully I'll have something fun for you guys here soon too.
Awesome. And we'll probably be back. Well, before
let's go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
No. Let's review tomorrow on live stream the video today.
Oh,
so you see, we're
we have an epilogue here. I forgot. I'm seeing it now.
An epilogue.
Freaky Friday 2 started filming today.
Woo.
Oh, congrats! That's awesome. Yeah, you happen to share some of those great pictures with us. They're in each other's dressing rooms. It's funny.
Mm-hmm. So Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are returning for Freaky Friday 2, 20
Electric
years
Boogaloo.
after the original. What can you expect
Finally.
from that movie?
A new generation. I'm not sure.
Was
Was anyone crying for this? I know Lindsay Lohan's tried to make a comeback a few different times. I don't know. She wasn't horrible in, was it Machete? I don't know. Do you guys think anyone was crying for this? I remember liking it way back in the day, 20 years ago, but I don't know.
Lindsay?
I mean, it could surprise us. No one really wanted the original too much. I think it kind of came out of nowhere, and everyone was just like, "Oh, this Lindsay Lohan still got it." So I mean, it's possible. I love me some Jamie Lee. I'm always down for some Jamie Lee.
For sure. And lately, she's been doing pretty good comedy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I loved her. I don't think she should have gotten the Oscar. What's her name should have, but she was very good in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
It is weird timing.
Yeah.
I can't name you a single thing of relevance that Lindsay Lohan has done in the last 10 years, maybe even 15.
When was Machete?
09.
Okay. So yeah,
just
last
under that mark.
15. I don't know.
What was that amazingly horrible movie she did that I adore?
Where she's a stripper.
I know you killed me, or
Yeah.
I killed me, or I know who.
Yeah.
It's I know who murdered me. It's something like that, right?
Something like that. Yeah. I know what you
like-
did in my murder house.
I know how you murdered me. Like it's not a good movie, but it's so fun to watch. Like it's a wild, weird experience. What was the last good movie she did though? Was it Mean Girls? Did she do anything good after Mean Girls?
That's a very long time ago.
I mean, between Mean Girls and Machete, somewhere in there.
Trey really
like
wants to
Machete.
make Machete happen. I Jamie Lee Curtis, I don't think the Freaky Friday audience is the type of people that would be watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it's been a couple of years since the Halloween trilogy update. I think maybe if this happened in 2018, like on the heels or leading into the 2018 release of Halloween, maybe. But they redid Mean Girls just this last year with a whole slew of different actors. Are like who is this targeted towards? Is it for kids? Like what? You're gonna have a senior and a
the
woman
people
in her
who
40s?
enjoyed it. Now it's 20 years later. Now they have their own children. It's their time to enjoy it. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think is, it's been long enough that now it's time to introduce the new generation to it. But I think there's something too striking while the iron's hot. I don't know how hot it would be after 20 years. But hey, you just mentioned she's got an Oscar nod. So I don't know.
But the iron has like been smelted into something else at this point. The iron is no longer hot. Plus, if you're going after this generation, you're going to have to introduce a third person. What is with this constant need to keep people from the 70s and 80s working? Like, what the fuck is this?
Because if they stop working, the world will end.
If our presidential race is anything, we need to let younger people work. Holy shit.
No, you're wrong. Shut up.
Very well.
Thank you for agreeing with me. That could have gotten awkward fast.
It's not shots against Lindsay Lohan or Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just, we aren't getting the next bit of stars because people just are not stepping out of the way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and it was kind of pointed out that the first one was not a Jamie Lee Curtis vehicle. It seems like, she's definitely higher ranked now in the Hollywood tier system than Lindsay Lohan currently. But
absolutely,
we're kind of banking it on it was a Lindsay Lohan vehicle back in the day.
Yep. Yeah, that was during Mean Girls at that stretch where even Herbie, I think, was like
I forgot about the Herbie stretches.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Fair
Lindsay
enough.
Lohan was white hot in the mid 2000s and less so today.
For sure.
I think you'd have to get some sort of Gen Z, 17, 18-year-olds.
Maybe I'm being super cynical though. Like maybe there's some really good script that you could use this mother, daughter, or granddaughter. I don't know exactly what it's going to be now, but swapping thing. I mean, like on paper, Big doesn't seem like it'd be that great. I absolutely love that movie. It's essentially the same type of deal. You're just swapping, and then there's that weird Judge Reinhold one from back in the day. There's a bunch of different versions of like this type of movie, and Jamie Lee Curtis is actually pretty awesome at comedy. I don't know. I would like to see her in another comedy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical. Maybe this will be great. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, you're awfully quiet about your fellow Californians.
Oh, look, man, I can't comment on Lindsay Lohan too much. Like, it's my nickname. Like, you know, there's a conflict of interest. I don't know, man. Like, well, they'll reboot anything at this point. It's a little sad. Like, just make new content, make new things. We don't need to always go back to the well. Like, you know, it's fine to go back to the well every now and again. But like, what's the saying? Like, stop remaking things that work. So remake things that didn't work. Like, let's see some of that.
Yes.
Like, let's see a John Carpenter of Mars reboot. Let's see I don't know, a Tomorrowland reboot. Actually, do it right this time and not make the worst movie ever made. I don't know. Just show me new things.
I think the only person that can benefit from this is Lindsay Lohan with a decent enough performance.
Yeah.
That's really the only person that can benefit from this.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that.
Cool.
No, it's just like a weirdly pointless thing to do. Like,
Right.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're living in now. Like they did a reboot of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I don't know, like any property seems like, well, we know this was profitable at one time, so let's do it. I don't know. I mean, Bikeriders was original. It didn't even break 3. You know,
it's strange. It's strange because people complain about new things, but they also complain about the things they love being different. So like we're fucked. We're just fucked. It's over. the long ride to death. And with that